So, in late 2005, the NASA Authorization Act of 2005 was signed into law. It established the Constellation Project, which was to be the next major step in the United States manned spaceflight plan. It detailed it planned the construction of the Orion spacecraft and the Altair lunar module, as well as the Ares 1 rockets and Ares 5 rockets for launching these spacecrafts. The Constitution aimed to simultaneously provide low Earth or near Earth support and take over the role of the retiring shuttles, and to send Americans to the Moon, to nearby asteroids, and eventually to Mars. Unfortunately, most of this will not occur. On October 11th, 2010, President Obama signed the NASA Authorization Act of 2010, officially ending the Constellation program. My main claim is that President Obama's cancellation of the NASA program Constellation is a mistake. The plan, it does not make financial sense. We risk losing American leadership in space aeronautics, and the replacement plans that were designed to replace Constellation are questionable in their effectiveness. My first point, that the plan is fiscally unsound. $9 billion and 4 years of development have already gone into this project. In comparison, the total cost of the Apollo program was roughly $170 billion, accounting for inflation, after less than 15 years of operations. Instead of being spent on Constellation, money is instead being put into extending the life of the International Space Station and launching the space shuttles, or adding one more flight to the space shuttles. This was done to appease his constituents in eastern Florida, namely the Space Coast, where to provide a few more months of jobs. But despite this, thousands of jobs will be lost as NASA stops the development of near-Earth and lunar delivery vehicles that were planned under the Constellation project, such as the delivery vehicles such as the Ares 1 rocket designed to launch the Orion spacecraft. A lot of these jobs are on the Space Coast, where the manned space launches take place and the components are placed together for these launches. My second point, American pride as the leader of space technology is at risk. Without a suitable low-orbit delivery vehicle in the works due anytime soon, Americans will have to rely on taxi rides from Russians, for which we pay them, and we also risk losing flights when our nations disagree on certain points or projects. For example, if, say, the Russians objected to placing a treadmill in the International Space Station named Colbert, or Colbert, depending on who you ask, we couldn't do anything about it if we didn't have our own launch vehicles. Then we lose out on the combined operational load-bearing external resistance treadmills on the ISS. Because America is a leader in space travel and exploration, people in this nation are inspired and motivated to succeed. NASA's many prestigious and exciting programs have inspired many Americans, particularly young ones, to excel in math and science. And the Constellation Project has the potential to be one of these programs, just as the Apollo program was. Neil Armstrong has stated that many people cite Apollo as inspirations to become paragons of their fields. Many of the Apollo generation grew up watching the historic landings of Neil Armstrong of Apollo 11 and the dramatic flight of Jim Lovell of Apollo 13 have credited NASA's human space programs as inspirations. By scrapping the Constellation project, Obama has given up returning to the Moon, even though only a small portion of the Moon has been explored. Not to mention all of the experiments and tests that could have still been conducted and the resources such as helium-3 and palladium that might have been extracted from the moon. The moon can also act as an excellent launch point for landing on the on asteroids, as well as reaching Mars or other destinations. One of the reasons that the United States is a world leader today is its technology. The United States space technology is a large portion of the technology that demonstrates the capabilities of this nation, which translates to a position of world leadership. Without a program such as the Constellation, we might lose this advantage. My third point, the replacement plans that were drafted to replace Constellation are uncertain in their effectiveness. The commercial space industry that Obama wishes to fund in hopes that they can launch our astronauts into space are still unproven. Different sources, such as including U.S. Representative Bill Posey, has stated that it is a risky venture. The cost of building and launching commercial spacecraft numbers beyond $20 billion, resulting in substantially expensive and risky investment for a commercial company, leading to the question of whether any company can or is willing to take that risk. In conclusion, my points are the Constellation program should not have been scrapped. It should have been allowed to continue and reaffirm United States dominance in the field of manned spacecraft for decades to come, as well as inspire our future generations to surpass the achievements of the current and to continue this nation's great legacy. Thank you.
All right. Well, you clearly state the proposition. The phrasing of it being a mistake, I think, is a little bit awkward. But I thought you had an excellent setup of what the supporting points were, and you also did a good job signposting them throughout the speech. They were easy to follow. You also did a very good job kind of explaining each premise as you went through it, why it was important and how it's connected to the rest of your argument. I think you're a little dependent on hypothetical examples, especially on the first point. You could use some more statistical data on the employment and economic issues that are going on. On the part about it being inspiring, I did think that you had one pretty good quote on that. I think you could find some other data on this as well. It wouldn't be hard to find some examples to go along with the assertion by Armstrong that this is a source of inspiration, and it maybe had an influence on our ability to develop scientific progress in recent years. I think that that's something that that's the one place where you had some pretty good information. I still think it could use a little bit more data to substantiate it. The last point about the riskiness of the alternative delivery systems or launch systems, I think that you've got a cost issue that you talk about, and then there's some question about reliability. I think you raise good questions. I'm not sure that you are convincing that they couldn't succeed, but you ask the right kinds of questions. So you've got some pretty good generalizations. I think you need a little bit stronger information on them. I didn't really hear any sources on the first part. It's not until we got to that second and third part that we got some data. You're a little bit hesitant as you're speaking. You want to work on your audience contact. And at the end of the speech, I think you're on the brink of making a policy claim. Stick with the issue of fact that this is going to have a harmful consequence to us, and I think you'll be okay there. All right. Thank you.